Comparisons and conditions are one of the most important things in JavaScript. Basically, they allow us to check if a condition is true, and if it's true, then we can execute a certain code. So let's take a look at a few comparisons and conditions. So actually, we can check this in the browser if we go here, and to compare a value to another value, we can use the double equal sign. So we saw previously that if we use one equal sign, something like const name is equal to badabimbo. Okay, I need sleep. But when we use one equal, we're basically saying, hey, assign this value to this variable. When we're using two equals, we want to compare something to something else. So if I say something like 5 double equals to 5, as you can see, that's going to give me true. If I say 5 double equals to 4, that's going to give me false. All right, so it compares these two different values to each other. Okay, so double values are used for comparison. Okay, but let's take a look at a few other ones. We have exclamation points and equal. This basically means it's not equal. So if I do 5 exclamation equal to 5, that's going to give me false. But if I do 2 exclamation equal to 3, that's going to give me true, because basically what you're saying, hey, that's not equal to this. Okay, so we have two equals for equal to, and we have exclamation and equal for not equal to. Now let's actually put this in here so we have all of them neatly put. Double equal to, so we can do 5 to 5. We have not equal, which is gonna be like that. Now what we also have is greater than and less than, and for that we can do this and this. So let's take a look. 5 is greater than 10. That's false. If we do 20 is greater than 10, that's gonna give me true. We can do the opposite. 10 is less than 5, that's false. But we can do 2 is less than 10, and that's true. Okay? We can also do with equal. So I can say 2 is greater than or equal to, let's do 3, so that's gonna give me false. I can also do, let's do 10 is bigger than or equal to 5, so that's gonna give me true, but 10 is bigger than and equal to 10 is also gonna give me 10. Whereas if I do 10 is bigger than 10, that's gonna give me false. Okay, so if you have the same value, you're gonna have to do bigger than or equal to. Okay, so these are a few basic conditions that you can use. So let's also add them here. So let's actually do a practical example. So here you can see this is true. And then we have 5 equals 4. This is gonna give us false. Okay, down here, let's do 4 is to 3. This is gonna give me true now because it's not equal to it. And if we do 4 equal to 4, this is gonna give us false. Okay, so not equal, equal. Here we have greater than or bigger than, greater or bigger, greater or smaller, whatever, you just call it whatever you want, greater, bigger. Let's do 1 here, so 5 is bigger than 10, that's gonna give us false. And we can also do 10 is bigger than 7, 6, that's gonna be true. And then we also have 10 is bigger than or equal to 10, which is gonna give us true. Same goes for the opposite. We can do 20 is smaller than or equal to 20, that's also true. Okay, so these are the basic ones right here. Now I want to show you an interesting one. Check this out. If we go here, let's see, 10 is equal to a string of 10. take a wild guess. What's gonna happen? Turn, turn, turn. True or false? Say it out loud. It's true. So that's strange. And usually you don't want this to happen, right? You don't want to kind of mix and match these things, strings and numbers, and this gives us true. You might have something in your code that wants to check a number, but since you have a string, it gives you the value of true. So rather than doing this, the two equals, what you can also do is you can check for what type this value is. So what is it? Is it a string? Is it a number? And the way you can do that is you can add triple equals. I know this is getting crazy here. So you need to add triple equals to also check the data type of your value. So if it's a string or a number. And this is a very common practice, and this is actually very recommended for you to do. So almost never ever use double equals. Never ever use double equals. Use the triple. Okay? And this is just to avoid these small kinds of bugs. So let's do that. 10 triple equals 10 as a string. So that's gonna give us false, which is what we kind of want to happen. Okay, so that's kind of all of these. And where do we use these? Well, we use these in conditions. So let me also introduce that for you. A condition basically checks for a value, and if it's true or false, you can run a certain code. So there's a specific keyword that you can use for this. It's called if. And in here, you add a set of parentheses. And in here, what you can do is you can check for a value. And if that value is true, this bracket of code in here, whatever you had in here, is gonna run. Okay, for now. So this basically results in a Boolean, so either true or false. So let's say const access. Let's say we have access to this. I'm gonna set this to true. Console log, hey mom, I'm TikTok famous, because this is how people on TikTok write. Hey mom, I'm TikTok famous. So I can add access here. Now let's take a look. Let me also quickly change my index.html to the new one I created, which is called conditions. And let's take a look. Hey ma, I'm TikTok famous. So there we go, that works. Now check this out. If I change access to false, we're not getting anything anymore. But what if I want to have access to something, and if they don't, I want to run something else. Maybe I want to run another set of code. So for that, what we can do is we can add an else statement here at the end of this bracket. And in here, we can say console log, hey, I don't have access. Save. So now since this is false, the other part of the code is gonna run. The else statement is gonna run. Hey, I don't have access. Perfect. So this is kind of how an if else statement looks like. This is what you're gonna hear a lot. Create an if statement or an else statement, or if else, my apologies, not just an else. And this is kind of like in its own world, so it doesn't really affect anything you add here. So if I say console log, hey, all right, so this is gonna run anyway. Or if I add it up here, it's gonna run anyway. And this is something that we call the global scope. And we're gonna get into that later, so don't really worry. All you have to know is that for now, this if statement and else is kind of in its own world. So everything that's only in this bracket here gets affected, right? And everything outside still runs perfectly fine the way we used to do it. So let's give another example here, because we can add not just false here or true, because this is kind of the same thing of adding false or true. What if we have maybe a user, let's say, that has an age of 20, all right? And we kind of want to make sure that he's at least 18 to be able to access a part of our website, for example. So here we can say console log, and I can say in here, I can say if the age is bigger or equal to 18. All right, so we're using those comparisons that we learned up here. So if it's bigger than 18 or equal to 18, you have access. And again, down here, we would probably just write more code that they have access to, so to the website. And in here, we can maybe do something like, hey, you are too young, leave me alone, like that. Okay, so perfect. Let's take a look. Since we're 20, now it's gonna say you have access. But take a look, let's change it to 18. It still works because we set it to bigger than or equal to, but as soon as I change it to 17 or 16, boom, you're too young, you don't have any access anymore. Cool. Now, there's also, you can make this more complex here, so it doesn't just have to be one simple value with another one. There are three more logical operators that I want to get into. One is the AND symbol, and that looks like this. You can add AND, so two AND symbols like that. And the way this works is both of these values have to be true. So maybe we have age, and maybe we have a bank account, and the website checks for the amount of money that we have. I don't know why it would do that. Please contact the police if it does that. But let's check it for the sake of doing it. If bank is bigger than 15, for example, let's take a look. Does that work? All right, let's kind of change this. You cannot enter, like that. All right, so let's change this to also bigger than 20. So 2020. As you can see, it says you have access. So what this AND symbol does, it checks if both values are true. So let's take a look. Age is bigger than 18. Is it? Yes, it is. 20. So this is true. And bank is bigger than 15. Do we have more money than 15? Yes, we do. 20. So this is true, and this is true. So boom, we have access. But as soon as one of these values is false, so maybe in our bank, we don't have 30, let's say they ask for more money, as long as one value is false, this whole statement is gonna just drop us inside this else statement here, okay? So that's kind of how the AND symbol works. We also have one OR, and the OR one just needs one value to be true. And the way we write it is with these two lines like that. And that's right above the enter key. If you hold shift, that's gonna give you that. Again, this just kind of checks as long as one value is true, it's gonna bring you in this section of your code. You have access, see? So even though this is false, it still works. Same thing here. I can do the same thing to age, doesn't really matter. And the last one, well, we actually covered it, is the not symbol here. So we can do that too. Let's do if age is not equal to 15. Hit save. There we go, we have access. So we can also use that in here. But if I put 20, then, oh no, we cannot enter anymore. Okay, so we can use all of these things. Perfect. Now, what if I want to do maybe one more? Maybe I want to check two of these. What we can do is add an else if. So I can hit enter here to the else and just go here and add an else if. And what I have the ability to do here is to add another set of arguments. So in here, another set of brackets. And what I can do is I can check for something else. So maybe I just want to check the age up here, and I can say if the age is bigger than or equal to 18, then I can say you are old enough, you can enter. And down here, maybe I want to check something else. And maybe I just want to check the bank account. So I can say bank is bigger than 30. So in here, I can say something specific to the bank account. Cool, but let's say, cool, you have enough money. All right, so let's change this bigger to 30. So let's do like, we have 100. Hey, else here, what we can do now is we can say, you are either too young or have no money. Okay, who can relate? Everybody. Okay, so let's check. It says you are old enough to enter. So as you can see, as soon as it hits one statement, so if this is true, if our age is bigger than 20, which it is, it just doesn't run all of this. It doesn't run the else if, it doesn't run the else. So this is kind of skipped over, skipped. Everything under here is skipped. As soon as one statement is correct, nothing else is being executed anymore. So it kind of skips everything, and then it just runs the other code that you have down here. Okay? But if we change this, let's say bigger than or equal to 18, my apologies, let me just lower this number up here to 15. Okay, so now this is going to be false. And it also says, cool, you have enough money. All right, so this is true. So now it went in here and it checked our bank account. And since this is true now, it executes this code. Perfect. Now, what if both are false? Then it's just going to end up in the else statement anyways. So if we don't have enough money and our age is not big enough, then there we go. We are at the else statement. So previously what happened, if I have 100 here, it just check if this statement is correct. So my age is 15. I'm not bigger than 18. So this is false. So it's going to go to else if. Do we have enough money? If we do, this code runs and it's finished. This doesn't run anymore and we're done with the code. There we go. And if this is also false, then we're just going to end up in the else statement and we are done with the code. So let's do 10 here or 20. Then it's just going to execute the else and we're finished. Okay, so I hope this cleared up. And you can have as many else if statements here as you want. You can add else if, and then you can do another one, and then you can do another one, and you can go crazy.